Logomania and super statement pieces are out. Instead, every brand from Zara to COS, from the Road to Loro Piana are selling us timeless pieces. And that for a hefty price tag. And even though a cashmere sweater for 50 euros can't ever be good quality, we're still buying it for the financially responsible and literate aesthetic. But how about actually being financially literate instead of just dressing the part using Klarna? Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm a fashion and culture enthusiast and I'm so happy to have you here. In this video, I want to give you a very basic guide as to how to actually shop in a financially responsible way. The new luxury, financial awareness in fashion. There is a strange kind of shame in wanting to be both fashionable and financially literate. But what if both worlds could coexist? If elegance was not about spending, but about intention. Fashion has always been about desire. Its rhythm depends on you wanting what you don't yet have and forgetting what you already do. The less we understand about value, the easier we are to sell to. Shopping is your cardio? Think again. It was mine for quite some time, but unfortunately, or rather fortunately, I now have things to save for. I now have saving goals and want to practice mindful spending. So I can someday secure that Birkin all by myself. Look, the fashion and beauty industry lives by impulse shopping and emotional spending. Basically, of your insecurities and weak moments. Marketing uses FOMO, limited drops, and micro trends to keep you at the tip of your toes at all times. But this is exactly what keeps you broke. Because if you don't know your numbers, the industry will decide them for you. Let's take this power back. Ultimately, we are the ones making decisions, aren't we? And if you're not financially literate, someone else profits from your confusion. Now, to be honest, I'm the last person to ban shopping altogether. I just know that I love to try new things. Also, I want to make this my job, and for that it is somewhat necessary for what I want to do to be on top of the trends. And also, I just like to look nice. But I also can't just go out and shop whatever. And I think I have established a quite well framework as to where and how I'm spending my money. So here we are. I want to give you a very basic guide as to how to become a more financially literate shopper. First and foremost, budgeting. I know, I'm sorry. Let's start with the most important step and the starting point for everything else. You have to be aware of your spending habits. And I know that this can be so uncomfortable at the start, especially if you haven't done it in a very long time, but it has to be done. Trust me, you will feel better afterwards. If you need a more hands-on guide as to how to budget, there are plenty of very, very good YouTube videos. But essentially, after you deducted your necessities, and please think of all of your necessities, be a little generous about those, and your savings, you can now think about how much you want to spend on shopping this month. Personally, I would also suggest setting up an automatic payment each month on a separate bank account, or with some banking providers, you can also have subcategories within your existing bank account. That way, you can not only budget for going shopping, but you can also save for bigger purchases that you might want to have, or for other things like traveling or going out to eat. If you want to be a little more hands-on, try this. Define your priorities and define a fashion budget framework. For this, I suggest 3 categories. First, essentials. Those are your capsule pieces, your basics that you always need and that you might have to replace more often because you wear them all the time. Second, seasonal trends. For that, I would suggest a very small percentage of your budget, but still you should have something that goes to this category, as this is where fashion actually gets fun. And third, investment pieces. These will be your saved for treasures. Now here's the thing. I don't believe that a capsule wardrobe is the non plus ultra, as it can erase some of your personality. On the one hand, because not everybody has the same needs when it comes to the capsule. And when you look up capsule wardrobe videos online, it's usually the same thing, right? I think there is only one thing that is truly a capsule piece for absolutely everyone, and that is a basic white top. But there are so many variations of that already, so you can't really pinpoint it down. But other than that, not everybody needs a pair of jeans, because not everybody likes to wear jeans, and not everybody needs to have a black blazer, because some people just are not in the need for a blazer in their everyday to day life. On the other hand, I think a capsule collection can be very limiting, especially if you're using fashion as expression. And if you've watched a few of my videos now, you should know that I'm not the biggest fan of everybody dressing and acting the same, having the same interests. Not in a hyper individualistic way, but rather in a democratic way. Point 2. Redefining your values. A $5 t-shirt and a $500 t-shirt may share the same cotton, especially when you look at the scandals at the big luxury houses that are going on right now, for example at Dior and Loro Piana. So the difference is often less about material and more about meaning. Fast fashion sells us accessibility. Luxury sells us aspiration. Both are built on emotion. And true literacy begins with understanding what you're actually buying. There are different things to consider. I'm going to just give you 3 examples. There is material value. So how is the piece you want to buy made? Where was it made? By whom? I think it's very important to know that and to be aware of this before you make a purchase. Another thing you might want to consider is cultural value. What is the story about this piece of clothing? What is it referencing to? Who was it designed by? Or maybe who was copied? And then lastly, emotional value. How does this piece make you feel and for how long? I think both t-shirts are okay to be chosen in the end if you've checked in with your values and your bank account. Point 3. Can you buy it twice? If not, you probably can't afford it. And by that, I mean buying it twice comfortably. Because this means if something happens to your item, if it gets stolen, if it breaks, if it shrinks in the washing machine, whatever, you could buy it again. And if you wouldn't buy it again, and you know that from the start, maybe you shouldn't buy it at all. Point 4. Think cost per wear. Yes, this might sound like a tip your parents would give you, but sometimes parents do have a point. And this point also does go hand in hand with what could be another point on this list, but I hope you're doing it already. Re-wear your clothes. Because high cost does not equal waste if worn often, and low cost does not mean smart if it never leaves your closet. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend a higher amount of money on something that is truly special to you. For example, a wedding dress or a very special piece that you might not be able to wear in everyday life. Although I would like to push you to wear those special pieces in everyday life because they are made to be worn. And maybe you could consider loaning a dress for a very special occasion instead of buying one. Because I know myself that I have a very expensive prom dress that I absolutely loved at the time and I still love it to this day. It's this dark red, super glittery, super beautiful. But where am I going to wear this dress to? It's a ball gown. I'm not doing ball gown events, although I wish I would, but I'm just not. And now it just hangs in my closet. And yes, it does have emotional value to me, but I personally don't think I would have to keep it, you know? I have so many pictures of it. I think I'm fine. And with all of that being said, I do want to note that a higher price does not equal better quality. You may have heard about the scandal surrounding Wisdom K and the Miu Miu vest and jacket that he got. If not, I will link the video down below. But he basically purchased a vest from Miu Miu, unboxing it on video. And when he tried to unbutton the vest, a button fell off. Then he got a replacement from Miu Miu, and the same thing happened. It was wild. And what this teaches us, we have to learn how to differentiate good from bad quality. And then you have to set your standards. Point 5, which is our last point. Keep a wish list. Last but not least, this is a very fun point, I think. Because a wish list is like a mindful shopping practice. It lets you enjoy desire without immediately acting on it. Because you can try parking everything that you want to buy for at least 2 weeks. I would suggest 3 to 4 weeks. Maybe in a nice Notion spreadsheet, or you can write it down in your notebook, or just jot down the links or whatever in your notes app. And I will promise you that after 2 weeks, you probably forgot about half of the things. And with the rest, you can then think about, do I actually want it or no? If you do, go ahead. You can buy it. I actually have a very good and well curated wish list going on, and there are things on there that I know won't go out of stock. So I think I'm gonna ask for them on Christmas or on my birthday. And that way you also always have something to say when people ask you for your wish list and for what they can get you, and you will get something that you actually want. I can share that with you if you want to. Now, I hope this guide was somehow helpful for you guys, and I think it's a very good starting point to start your financial literate shopping journey. If you enjoyed this video, I would love if you could like and subscribe it, and then I hope I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, bye!